right. Welcome everyone to Changing of the Hip Hop Guards. I am your host, Uncle E. That is my partner, the journalist in C. And today we have all the way from Australia joining us, none other than Flu. What's up, Flu? How you doing?
What's up, fellas? How you doing? I really appreciate you guys having me on today, man.
No
Really do.
doubt. No
No
doubt.
problem. Thank you for taking the time and joining us, man. So let's get right into it, Flu, man. For those who may not know or have forgotten about who you are, do you want to give the people a little background to who Flu is?
Sure, man. So basically, these days, producer from Melbourne, Australia. Sort of been producing for properly, I guess, for the last 5 or 6 years. Prior to that, believe it or not, I was actually an MC. And I had a bit of a career down here, you know, doing a local Australian hip hop, you know, touring the country, releasing vinyl, albums, all that sort of stuff with my crew. Then as I got a bit older and the touring life settled down, had kids and stuff, sort of wanted to branch out into the production. And then I sort of wanted to reach over the pond, you know, and work with some more people over in the States. So I started doing that, about 5 years ago. And then it sort of started picking up a little bit of traction, me working with certain people. And it's been crazy since, man. It's been awesome that, you know, me sitting here even right now in Australia on my morning lunch break talking to you guys out there, you know, like that's
Nice,
the beauty
nice.
of music, man, you know. So
Yeah.
it's the beauty of hip hop being so global now and able to do these crazy things and these crazy projects. So
Nice. Right. Can you do us a favor though? Can you give us a little timeline? Like you said, you started off as an MC. How far back are we talking?
I first started releasing properly, like, you know, with distribution on a label and all that sort of stuff in 2009.
Okay.
That was when I first started sort of making noise here. I mean, no one else anywhere else in the world knew who I was, you know, but in Australia, I sort of built a bit of a name for myself. So from 2009 all the way up to about 2017, I was still MCing, still releasing vinyl, still doing, you know, shows, etc. But then from the end of 2017 to now, I really started to focus on just doing production because I enjoy that a lot more. And like I said, I've settled down a little bit more, become a little bit more domesticated, you know.
Right.
So my life is nowhere near as crazy now, so I don't really have anything to fucking rhyme about. So now I just like prefer to supply the production now for other crazy MCs.
Okay. Now, during that time when you were MCing, were you already dabbling with the production at the same time a little bit?
Towards the end, like so around 2000 and I think 15 or so, I started to dabble a little bit. A good friend of mine pretty much gave me one of his samplers. You know, he's just like, here, man, I don't use this particular one, so you start messing around with it. And then I was trash for a couple of years, man. I was terrible. Like I knew the concept of, you know, chopping samples, and I knew how to sample and flip things to a certain degree, but I was trash for a long time. So, you know, started off pretty bad, like I guess everyone does, and then
Right.
kept finessing a little bit, kept having fun with it. Always made sure to make sure it stayed fun, you know. And then when I felt a little bit confident enough, I would show some of my friends first who were great producers, and they're like, okay, Flu, you're getting it now. And then I eventually started reaching out to people. So
Okay. Do you remember the first artist that you actually got a placement, you know, as far as production with?
yeah, well, straight off the bat, my homie Ito from Rochester, New York, new crack era crew. Basically him and I did a like a 5-track EP, and it actually got picked up by Tough Kong Records, which is an indie label which are doing a lot of moves these days. They've grown huge in the last 5 years, putting out a lot of dope stuff. So check them out. To the people tuning in, that's Tough Kong Records. They're dope. So anything from like dudes like Low Key like me to even Alchemist projects and everything in between. So once they pick that up, it kind of looks online, it makes you look official, you know. A lot of stuff online is BS and you can look better than what you are, but that kind of does make you look official when a label's going to put that capital behind you to press physicals, like, you know, they believe in your stuff that much. So from there, it just started kicking off. And I got a lot of, little one-off joints here with all kinds of different people, and, shouts to Crime Apple, Smooth, dudes like that, Edo, Riggs, like I said. And now, obviously, a legend like Young Z was able to happen as well.
Right.
Before getting into production, who were some of your early influences?
So, like, I'm a massive fan of, like, Doom, Sean Price, that kind of school of MCs, ignorance at its finest with like comical twists, but also with a little bit of street, a little bit of grit as well. So yeah, definitely the Dooms and the Sean Prices of the world, I would say, were, up there for me.
Right. What about your creative process? Can you talk a little bit about that?
These days it's I'm just inspired by like everyone else around me. Like look at the level of music now that comes out. Like, yeah, there's a lot of trash to wade through, but that top tier stuff just inspires me. So now, like, that's all I need is I might hear like my homies, just as dope. I'm in a production group chat on Instagram. We chat every day. Like, they get my creative juices flowing. Like, just from them sending a rough demo, I'll be like, yep, cool, bang, I'm hungry now. Like, so it's like that. What is it? Iron sharpens iron. So it's it's almost like friendly competition with each other. And basically, my process these days now at this stage of my life is ducking outside of the house into the garage where I have the studio, and just trying to get some work in when the kids are resting, or when my wife gives me a bit of free time, So it's all about ducking out when I can, and balancing life, work, and music. It's all a balancing act, and I'm slowly learning how to sort of balance my time. So so that literally is my process, just finding the time to get creative and keep the passion going.
Right.
Just so when it comes to your production, or should I say the style of your production, sometimes some people tend to say that there's a certain sound that sounds like it's kind of stuck, let's say in the 90s. Do you even think about that? Like, do you think like, man, we're in like 2022, I should have a sound that sounds like this or like that? Like, what's your process when it comes to your creativity as your sound?
Yeah, no, look, that's a great question, because I was that sort of purist dude preaching about the 90s, when I was younger, in my 20s and stuff. Or that's not real hip hop, or any of that sort of stuff. I'm a bit different now in terms of like, yeah, I still love my dusty stuff. I'm still mostly sample based, breaks, drums. I mean, that alone is already going to be, I guess, described as boom bap,
Right.
But I also I play all my own bass lines, subs. I layer everything with like subtle synths, and all kinds of other instrumentation, which then could also be classified as progressive. So it's like a little bit of both. But to answer your question a bit better, I don't sit there going, oh yeah, I'm going to lock into this 90s type style today, or I'm going to lock into more futuristic listening stuff today. I just do me, and sort of as cliche as it is, I just make shit that I would want to hear, and if I think it sounds dope, then cool. Whether I chopped up a classic drum break or I played the drums myself, it's just making sure it gets to that level where I'm happy with it, and happy to send it off to a rapper to lace. So I definitely try not to subscribe to just one sort of way of viewing things. And it's music, man. How can you even do that? It's like impossible. Like, so many different things you can do. So I get it. I get the purists. I've been there, and I get the other people that's like, no, let's like keep evolving. Like, I get both ways of thinking. But I just do me till I feel happy and satisfied.
Dope. Yep.
Right. You spoke a little bit about Riggs and Crime Apple that you worked with. Before we get to the Young Z project, can you take us back to some of the other artists you've worked with throughout the years?
Yeah. So so Riggs was like pretty much my second proper production project. So I discovered him via Edo, because they're both from Rochester, New York. And I loved Riggs' style, man. Like, I heard him, he was like, young, hungry dude. You could just hear that hunger in everything he did. Absolute professional when it comes to like dealing with him. Just a straight up good dude, humble, but also, you know, driven. So huge fan. And I always, excuse me, I always approach everything as a fan first anyway. So I heard him and I was like, yeah, crazy. Like, let's work. And luckily I then had the Edo project. So now I had something to show people instead of just going, hey man, I'm a producer from Australia, work with me. It's it was a little less like cold like that. It was more like, hey, I did this project. What do you think? And it was awesome. And I was blessed enough for Riggs to be like, yeah, this is dope. What'd you have in mind? And just built from there. Then there's Smooth, you know, from the Winners crew. Crime Apple did a couple of features and we did like a one-off joint as well. So shouts to him as well. And then I got my homie. Then I went to the West Coast as well. Wanted to work with a West Coast dude called GBP, General Back Pain. Funny name, great MC as well. He's kind of like a West Coast version of like Doom mixed with Sean Price, but with that West Coast style as well. So that's just to name a few. There's a lot of other things I've got coming out. But I sort of like, you know, being so indie myself, I like to work with the other indie artists and, you know, support each other. And yeah, it's been awesome. Yeah.
What kind of feedback have you been getting over the years off your projects?
To be honest, like it's been overwhelmingly awesome. Like I don't go looking for the hate, but surprisingly, I haven't really seen a whole lot of hate. There's always a couple of little snarty comments on a YouTube or whatever, but that's to be expected, and I find it entertaining. You know, it makes me laugh, so that's a good thing, really. But overall, it's been great. A lot of people say they're more cinematic sounding kind of beats. I'm not sure. Some people have said reminds them of a more modern Havoc. Others have said a little bit of RZA, which means a lot to me when people say that. But overall, man, it's been really positive, and it's I get people reaching out to me all the time from all over the world now, MCs from everywhere, even non-English speaking countries are like trying to work and stuff. So, you know, I'm just blessed and I feel humbled that anyone even cares to listen to me in a ocean of music that comes out. Like, I think, isn't it something crazy? Like 65,000 songs are uploaded to Spotify every day. So for anyone to even know or care to listen to my shit means a lot, you know?
Right.
Are you working with any Australian MCs out your way?
Not recently. Not probably not at the moment. I kind of got sort of sucked into working with people over in your neck of the woods, man. Because I guess our population is like tiny compared to you guys. So there's a lot more ears over in the States. So I can sort of reach a lot more people, a little bit more opportunity. But that's nothing against any of my local peoples out here. Definitely down to always work. It's just when the timing's right and stuff. And after this Z project, I'm just going to chill for a couple of weeks, relax. You know, I always feel a little bit like there's that peak of releasing it, and then it's like I need to relax and recalibrate my mind a little bit, because I put a lot of overthinking into each project, as a lot of artists do, and I sort of drive myself a little bit unwell sometimes. So I gotta like recalibrate, refresh myself. So in the future, I'm sure there'll be some stuff with some more Australians. Yeah.
Right. I always like to get the perception of you know, what it was like in 2020 for you know, somebody like yourself. COVID hit. How did that affect you and maybe the relationships you gained through that year while everybody was at home?
Yeah, for me, like I didn't mind it, because I went from having to sit here for 8 hours a day, you know, unloading shipping containers by hand, right, to being able to sit in the studio, a lot more time to like make music, a lot more time to call some loved ones I hadn't spoken to in a while. It kind of brought some people together a little bit more, because I guess we're almost not panicking, but stressing out as one big group of people, you know. So I didn't hate it as much as it was bad for other people, because it gave me time to like, make more music. I started exercising a lot more in the house. You know what I mean? Like I was looking after myself a little bit more. So for me, it wasn't all bad. So yeah, it didn't really affect me. If anything, my productivity was almost like gunning at that point, and if anything, I've slowed back down a little bit now, having to go back to work. So for me, it was all right. Obviously, the money slows up a lot, but I'm able to stretch a dollar pretty far. So yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Right. So take us back to how you and Young Z connected.
Well, he probably wouldn't remember this, but back when I was still rapping, one of my albums that I was dropping in around 2013, I was trying to reach out to him like on social media and stuff, and he was never reading my messages. So I could never get onto him. But always, like for the last almost 10 years, always in my mind, I was like, I got to work with Z. I got to work with Z. He was on my bucket list. I had Doom, Sean Price, and Z. So always on my bucket list to work with. Obviously, rest in peace, to Doom and P. So I was like, I gotta get to Z, man. I gotta get to Z. Finally, I think it was towards the end of last year or something like that. He was out in the world again, which was amazing, good to see. And I was like, man, I'm gonna make this happen, man. Now I'm not like, I kind of subscribe a little bit to the manifesting thing or whatever, but I'm more just like, no, make it happen with being, I guess, consistent in my approach. So started messaging him, putting feelers out. And I got him at a time where he was just hungry to start like releasing a lot because, he hadn't been able to release stuff for a while. So it just was like, he was like, yeah, boom. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, really? So I was, again, like I said earlier, I approach everything as a fan first. So I was like, oh shit, okay, this is actually going to happen. And he's like, yep, send beats, let me check like what you got. So I sent like 5 beats to start off with, and he liked all of them. He's like, man, this is crazy, you're dope. And again, that meant a lot. So we just started building from there with ideas and like started chatting on the phone and everything. And man, he's such a straight up, down to earth, cool dude. Like it's like hanging out with one of your homies. Like there was no ego, none of that. He's literally like any of my homies back here. Like, and we're just chatting, having a laugh. And all of a sudden, when I thought it was finished, he was like, nah, I've got more ideas. I want to do this. I want to add this person. So it was just amazing. And he knocked it out pretty quick too. Like I've sat on records for like 2 years working with some people. He was like bang, bang, bang. And it was all amazing and hilarious and funny. And yeah, it was an awesome experience and just a massive tick off my personal bucket list, like massive. So yeah, I'm just super blessed that this shit even is real, Yeah.
What exactly about Young Z attracted you to? What was it that you liked about Young Z in particular?
Just like, I've got a soft spot for MCs that can make me laugh,
Okay.
Because it's like it's a pretty serious genre, and we're always like angry, mean mugging, but like the rappers that can make me laugh, like I mentioned earlier, the Dooms and the Sean Prices, etc., while still keeping that grit though. There's nothing soft about it, So Z, I think, had that, or has that, sorry. And just, the way he does his punchlines and like the way his mind works and like how he is literally how he raps too. Like it's good. So like I said, I was just a fan for so long. And I just never forgot. I just never forgot about reaching out to him over like the last 10 years. I was like, yeah, got to reach out to him. I'm going to reach out to him. And yeah, I'm just a huge fan. And to be a part now of his catalog, I guess, that's crazy. I can forever be like, yeah, I produced one of his projects. So I'm good now. I'm good.
Right.
Very dope.
Can you take us back to some of your guys' early discussions when you first linked up? What was he thinking? What were you thinking? What kind of ideas did you guys come up with?
Yeah, so it sort of started off with like, I sort of sent beats in an order where I was like, I think this should be the intro because it's the way the beat kicks in. And then he would sort of be like, yeah, but I think my friend would work better on this. And I sort of, for me, like with MCs, I sort of let them do their part of it. And then, and hopefully they trust me to do my part of it. And that's mostly how it's been with everyone I've worked with. So I was like, I sort of said to Z, I'm like, look, if you feel like that's what this beat should have, then run with it. If you want Vinny Paz on that joint, run with it, Luckily we both, agreed on what was dope and what wasn't. There was a couple of beats that didn't make it. which in the end, it was good that he was like, nah, not this one. Because there was, I was at the time, as a beat maker, you finish making a beat and it's fresh in your mind, but it might not even be close to some of your better stuff. But to you, it's like, nah, it's fresh, it's new, use this. So he was able to be like, nah, it's not even as good as the other ones. So what we ended up with, those 7 we ended up with, was perfect that he said no to a few. I'm glad he did. Some rappers would just say yes to whatever. So that was part of the process. Then there was other songs that were a little bit more serious. I'm like, what should we do about the choruses? And then he sent me some chorus ideas and got me to sort of produce around that. But overall, it was pretty good. There was no like clashing of the heads. There wasn't any sort of major disagreements. It was all pretty smooth sailing. And like I said, the whole time I was just sitting here like, hell yeah, man, I'm doing a project with Z. So I was all smiles the whole time. The whole thing was fun to me. I'll sit in the studio tweaking shit at 3 a.m, but just with a big grin on my face, loving life, man, loving the whole process. So yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I'm assuming that this project, it's for you, is pretty dope to have as part of your resume now, right? You got a nice feature with Rod Digger on there, Vinny Paz, like you said, Pace One. Like, how does it feel to be able to say that? You know what I mean? Like, does that put it up there? Does that bring you? What is? I don't want to get sued or nothing, man. This is disclaimer, but did your price go up? Is it not yesterday's price?
It was crazy because he was like, yeah, I'm gonna get Rod Digger on this and Pace on this and stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, like, yeah, right, like that's huge, But I've been told things by rappers before, like, oh, we'll do this, we'll do that, and so I was like, I believed him, but at the same time, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't happen. Then, like a couple of days later, just bang, he just hits me on the ground. He goes, check your email real quick. I'm like, what? Go on the email and it says featuring Rod Digger on the MP3 demo. I was like, no way. He went and got this shit done. Turned it on and straight away I was like, man, this is crazy. The fucking Queen is rapping on one of my beats. Some dude out here in Australia, man. It's just, again, like, it's just that beauty of like how we can all connect with music and the internet now and stuff, and it's just wild. And it's crazy. But as for the price going up, I don't know. I'm a pretty humble dude and stuff, and I would never want to sort of come across like that online, like, oh, my price is going up now. But I know. It's definitely to add to the resume though, like you said, it's pretty incredible to have those names on there. So shout outs Pace as well. Outsiders, man. Like, it's crazy. Absolutely
that's
crazy.
Really dope, man. That's me and Sincere, like, we always say, like, we'd like to try to represent that true hip hop feeling, and what we mean by that too is like what you just described. Going to your email, checking it out, and being like, "Oh shit, Rod Digger's on my shit too," and that feeling that you got, though, that, you know what I mean, at that moment, like that's what that's what we think it's all about. You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
so that's
absolutely,
really dope, man. Congrats to you guys.
Yeah, no, thank you, man. No, absolutely, man. I'm still buzzing. I'm still buzzing when I think about it. So yeah, it's crazy.
That's dope.
The project is called Scumbag, featuring Young Z. It's out now. Can you tell the people what they can expect from this project?
Yeah, they can expect Z doing what he does best, man. Crazy off the wall flows, crazy off the wall bars. But then towards the middle of the project, there's like some pretty serious themes on there, which I think is really going to surprise some people. And just those that know my beats, they can expect that sort of, flu type stuff, moody sounds, gritty. Just check it out. And hopefully there's some, I think there's something there for everybody. But if you're a fan of Z, definitely check it out. I can't speak for him too much, but he has said, this is his favorite stuff that he's done so far in his career. So that meant a lot when he said that too,
Where can people get this project at?
So he's got a website if you want to get the digitals, youngzmusic.com, I believe it is. And then if you want, there is vinyl as well. So we went and did the vinyl ourselves. You can get that at handtohandrecords.bigcartel.com. So there's like a green splatter. The artwork's crazy too. Like, even check it out just for the artwork is insane as well. Like a full painted weird trippy thing with Z surrounded by like mushrooms and pterodactyls and all kinds of different stuff he references in the raps. So the whole package just came out crazy, and I couldn't be happier, man.
All right.
After Scumbag does its thing, what can we expect from Flu in the future?
Well, yeah, after a little bit of a break, I'm probably going to just get right back into it. There's a few names out there that I want to reach out to, almost from the same, I sort of guess, generation as Z and stuff as well. But really, like, Z and I have actually spoken about working on a follow-up. So I'd definitely be down for that. I'd love to do some stuff like try with like Ra and Pace as well. Maybe try and get the outs all together for an EP or something. Like,
oh yeah,
and try and maybe help curate that somehow, if that's possible. You know, that'd be incredible too.
Yeah.
But I've got a few ideas of people I'll reach out. I can't really say anything now in case it doesn't happen or whatever. But yeah, I've definitely got some plans to build on the momentum. But I'd love to do more stuff with Z. Absolutely.
As far as 2022 goes, who are some of the younger producers that you're listening to these days?
So I'd have to do shout outs to Farmer Beats, so Farmer from the UK, as well as Hobgoblin from the UK. They're crazy. Mighty Healthy from Miami, he's dope. He's got something coming out real soon. Couple of Australian producers, SB11, he just did some stuff with Josiah the Gift, and another one called Timepiece. So these are all names you should definitely check out, because they're all super dope, and they all work with dope MCs as well. So there's a beautiful sort of, I guess, movement happening now. Like, it's just watching it, I guess, from my vantage point out here on the other end of the world. It's crazy watching, you know, from, I guess, 2012 onwards, how hip hop is now. It's crazy. So I'm just glad to be making my tiny little contribution and being able to chop it up with guys like yourself, you know.
Thank
Absolutely,
you.
we appreciate that. For any MC out there that's trying to get a hold of some of your tracks, what's the correct process of getting hold of Flu and your process of production for an artist?
Yeah, look, I'm easy to reach. Just hit me on the socials. It's just Flu Dust, so FLUDUST on Instagram mostly. I'm on there, and just come holler at me, man. Have a chat. Like, I'm super chill, you know. So yeah, you know, if you're dope, man, 100%, let's do it. So, you know.
So
I'm sorry. I was going to say I have a question for you, and I'm very interested to have your take, being that you're based out in Australia. Hip hop is getting ready to turn 50 years old soon. How do you feel about that? What's your take on hip hop turning 50?
Man, it's a beautiful thing, man. It's like this music, the power of it. Look at it now. It's the number one genre pretty much in the world, if we're even talking just sales and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's even in other countries. Like, that's the power of it. It's pretty much reached out global. Like, it's Wednesday afternoon here, and what is it, Tuesday night there? No, sorry, it's Tuesday
Monday
afternoon here, Monday night there. We're talking about hip-hop right now. Like, that alone is crazy. Like,
yeah.
So it's a beautiful thing, man. I was lucky. I just happened to be this like Aussie kid that stumbled into hip hop. I think 8 or 9 years old, like super young. Didn't even understand what half the lyrics meant. You know what I mean? I just loved the rhythm of it. I just loved the vibe, the energy that I got from it, and that's the power of it. Like, it's a beautiful thing, man. And it's huge here now. Like, you probably wouldn't think, like, you think Australia, like you said, crocodiles and kangaroos and Steve Irwin or whatever, right? You know, you wouldn't think that hip hop is huge here. Like, it's massive.
Right.
That, probably the number one selling genre here too.
Wow.
So
okay.
How's that? You know, for the power of this music, man, this culture, this genre, that it's transcended oceans all over the world. So it's a beautiful thing, man. Yeah.
Dope.
For the fans who want to check out your past discography, where can they find that at?
Yeah, so that's all on you know, your Spotify's, your Apple Music or whatever. But if you want to sort of, I guess, know how to find them easier, there's the Bandcamp. Like I've uploaded everything on there. So just fludust.bandcamp.com. You can kind of find it there, and then you can sort of see some of the other work I've done. So shout out to all the artists that have ever worked with me that were happy to work with some random dude out here, you know. So yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah, real quick, man. What Flu? Why Flu?
Oh, okay. Because when I first started rapping, I had a real cliche rap name, Fluent Form. So fluent, you know, like
Fluent
rapping
Form.
fluently, like very
Yeah,
sort of cliche. My first rap name 101 type shit, right?
right.
And then like everyone always just called me Flu or Fluey for short. So
Okay.
when I was like my second career, I guess as a producer, I was like, I'm not going to run with Fluent anymore. I'm just going to shorten it to Flu. And then, you know, the dusty samples, Flu Dust, Flu.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so
Right.
nothing too crazy. It was more me just trying to separate this second wave of my life from the first part of it, you know. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
No doubt.
Blue, we want to thank you for joining us this evening. The new project Scumbag is out now. Like I said, thank you for everything you've done for the culture. I am the journalist Sincere. That's my partner, Uncle E, and we're out of here. Thanks again, Blue.
No, I really appreciate it, guys. Like I really do, man. You guys taking the time to talk to me means a lot. So shout outs to you guys. Let me know when it's up. I'll share that around everywhere, and yeah, hopefully we can chop it up again in the future. And cool.
Enjoy
All right,
the
guys.
rest of your
I'll speak
day.
to you soon.
All right, thanks.
Man. Much love, guys.
You too.
Same here.